World Affairs think tank. Thanks very much for joining us. First of all, I mean, poverty definitions vary. There's always the criticism that you can, you twist the facts and twist the definitions to suit you, and that perhaps you should be modelling and talking about inequality, the wealth gaps. Nevertheless, this is a striking claim by China.
Yeah, I think this is a very important milestone that they've achieved. The $2.30 that you've mentioned, it's significant because of the breadth of the amount of people that we're talking about. 100 million people raised to this level over the last 8 years. At the same time, very important to remember that this is a very low bar as well. We're talking about extreme poverty, and so these are people who are gauging their improved lives because they can eat meat every day, as some of the residents of the village where I lived told me.
Well, so tell us a bit about where you were based and what sort of lives people were living.
So I was based in Yunnan province at the southwest corner of China. I was in a remote village there, about 350 people who lived there. So very remote. They certainly qualify as the impoverished numbers in China. They're researching rural issues.
And were their lives improved whilst you were there?
Exactly. Yeah. So they've in the last decade transitioned from predominantly subsistence farmers to focus on cash crop of tea, having access to paved roads for the first time ever in their lives. Previously, the mountains surrounding them, cutting them off from China's growing economic heft. The poverty eradication campaign built new houses for them, so knocking down their traditional earth-walled houses and building them new houses of concrete that are supposed to be more structurally safe. Access to education, basic medical services as well. So they would say they're living their best lives now. Which is true. So I celebrate with my neighbors. It's an incredible achievement. At the same time, very low bar, lots of room ahead for continued improvement and challenges ahead.
And do you think it will continue, briefly?
I think it will continue. China's shifting towards focusing not just on absolute poverty, but relative poverty, which is a much higher bar, and shifting to a rural vitalization campaign. So focusing a 30-year blueprint by 2050 to a moderately prosperous countryside and well-off farmers. So the things that have gone well in this campaign, I think, will continue to shift towards that campaign, and we'll continue to see layered, incremental improvement for rural areas.
Really interesting. Matthew Chitwood, many thanks indeed for joining us today. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Let's turn to Brussels now, where vaccine producers have just